This one?
Okay, Zach, we're rolling, bud.
Okay, yep. We're also live on YouTube's.
Okay. Hi, YouTube people. Okay.
YouTube!
Okay, now get out.
Well, I started. I need to go live on.
Huh?
You're not live on Facebook.
Test.
It was just connecting and then it went out.
Okay, you got 30 seconds.
Well, it was literally
You
loading.
can't keep saying well. You have 30 seconds. You have to be out of
Boom. Sometimes I hang out. Okay.
We're good?
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll watch it.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer. And that new disclaimer that was added, was that just this week that was added? Just this week that was added. I like to think that they're doing it just for us. But I know that they're not. I know that they are. I know it's a corporate thing, as you know, as things get more and more controversial. But I love to think that even a company as bold as Salem wants to maybe disavow what we're talking about here. Because why? Well, because we say the quiet stuff out loud here. And if you look across all of media, and Salem is a bold company. Salem puts stuff on the air that others won't even come close to. But still, what we're finding is, I mean, we're called the Peak. There is an institution here, a media institution here, has been here a very long time, called the Independent. And you know what? They're not independent. They really need to change their name. Because, as we'll be presenting to you later, they finally came out with an article regarding this Mayor Yemi story. Man, it's embarrassing. I'll just say that. Not journalism. And I challenge them to do better. And I challenge the Gazette to do better. And I challenge KRDO, and I challenge Fox 21, and I challenge... And you know who I challenge to do better? More than anybody else, Jordan Baldwin, who's sitting here in the studio,
Hey.
Our investigative journalist. I challenge us to do better, and we're trying to every day. We have such limited resources. We're citizen journalists here, you know, just trying to dig up a story that the megalith is not even a word. The giant media industry in a town of this size. Lots of TV stations that have news, radio stations that have news, newspapers that have news. Nobody's covering this story in more than a real cursory way, except us and Jordan Baldwin, who's hustling his butt off, getting so much stuff that we can't even talk about. So much stuff that actually we could get people in trouble by talking about, because as we'll be telling you later, the Department of Justice has basically sealed all information regarding this. And by the way, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, we'll let you know really soon what we're talking about. But the reason that you would know what we're talking about after this story has been out there nationally for almost 3 weeks, that should tell you something. Why don't you know about it? And so we challenge everybody to do better, because the only two really investigative organizations, parties in any society, is the police, law enforcement, the executive branch of our government, and the media. We're the ones who go out and do it. And there's certain things that the government can do really, really well, more than the media can, because they have the power to do that. And then there's the stuff that the media can do if we're independent. But what we're finding out is is that while legally the First Amendment allows us to report on anything, that the institutions, the organizations that bring you the news, they limit their journalists. And we've known this from the beginning. We didn't realize how much it's going on the local level. And I feel for all of my fellow journalists out there. I don't feel for the ones who are purposely trying to be activists and cover stuff up, and for the ones that really want to tell the story and go, man, I can't, like I could lose my job. Like I really feel for you guys. And that's why I would ask all of you, get involved with the Peak, join the Peak, give money to our nonprofit foundation, support us. You know what? I'd love to hire all of these guys away from the institutions that are limiting them, because they're great journalists who would love to tell this story and they're not. I wish they'd be bolder, but I understand. I understand when you have a job. Thankfully, you know, I run things here, and so I keep things really, really unrestricted. But journalistically, very, very strict. We're making sure that we're not using innuendo, that we're not doing any of, you know, this stuff. We're checking our things, but we're also telling you about it as the process along the way. So what are we doing here today? Today is Yemi Hate Crime Hoax, The Fallout. This is number 6 program that we're doing specifically on this. And this is about this article that came out in the Daily Wire 3 weeks ago, almost tomorrow, claiming that this hate crime hoax, it is now called a hoax by the federal government, that to the benefit of Mayor Yemi, that Mayor Yemi knew about it before, during, and after, that he lied to the government, and that the government actually covered over things for him. And this is a juicy story that all of the media should be, you know, is he guilty? Is he innocent? What's going on? Our mayor's been accused. And yet, here we are, this little grassroots organization called The Peak, bringing it to you. And we're happy to do so. When we come back, we're going to have George Brauchler, a district attorney-elect for Judicial District 23. He's been very outspoken on this, getting some more information in the legal angle. And then throughout the program, Jordan Baldwin, our investigative reporter, filling us in on new things that we've been learning. You're listening to The Peak, and we'll be right back.
Excellent. So you're going to be doing the back and forth with George?
Remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So you're going to be doing the back and forth with George. I'm not going to...
Call George, please. You calling George? Calling. Right. Ring-a-ding-ding. Hello, Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Please tell people that we're Facebooking. Although, we'll let you know, we don't have the ability to put the phone call in, so the next 10 minutes, you maybe want to tune in on the air.
So are you going to be shooting the questions back and forth with George? You're not going to, or am I going to chime in? Or?
You can, but you got to keep it real quick.
Okay.
Do you have something to add?
No, I don't plan on adding anything. That's what I said.
Okay, I gotta highlight stuff. Where? There it is. Okay.
So the first time you'll be asking me to really chime in is after that
segment
Yemi
3.
video's playing, right?
Segment 3.
Okay, gotcha.
My sellers keep more of their money, and my buyers receive 25% of my commission. My sellers are using the money more. It's important to serve my local community, back at those who serve.
Do we have them? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? Are we good with the, is the call good?
Now let me serve you as your realtor with buying or selling a home and help you to keep more money in your pocket with reduced commissions and rebates.
Are we with?
John Gray Homes, Colorado. That's John Gray Homes, Colorado. John Gray Homes, taking the drama out of your home.
We really should have like a screen here to send this in.
Don't let multiple interfere with your enjoyment of life. Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Tickle from Tickle Prosthodontics, your board-certified dental implant specialist in Southern Colorado. We provide individual treatment solutions that will assist you in maintaining your smile investment for years to come, including dental implants, IT, crowns, and dentures. For more information,
I don't know. Yeah.
tickledental.com.
I don't know if we're going to get to this.
Express Printing
If
is
we're
your
doing that in
family-owned
3.
print shop in Colorado Springs. In business for more than 30 years, Express is part of our community. Located at 34 and 34 West Union Circle, Express Printing is
xpressco.com. That's the letter X, pressco.com. Your one-stop local print shop.
The Peak News is committed to raise up a new generation of bold, ethical, First Amendment defending journalists in the Pikes Peak region and beyond. We've created a
Go back in 1 minute.
educational foundation to develop and administer a journalistic ethics and media vocational training program for local high school and college students, coupled with a professional level internship at the Peak News. For more information and to donate, go to thepeak.news/foundation. The Peak News Educational Foundation, our way of paying it forward.
Our vision is a community-style revolution in the Rockies to empower people to change the world. We believe this is best accomplished through building men into leaders. Hello, I'm Dr. Steve Holt, the senior pastor of the Road at Chapel Hill. Join 400 men on Tuesday mornings at 6 a.m. for Bible study and breakfast, and Sunday mornings for our regular worship services. For times and more details, check us out at theroad.org. That's theroad.org.
Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to us on AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, and this is Yemi Hate Crime Hoax number 6. We've been doing a series of programs covering the story that broke almost 3 weeks ago on November 21st from the Daily Wire, claiming on the heels of a federal indictment, federal charges that were unsealed the week before, that a hate crime that was perpetrated during the mayoral campaign in 2023 here in Colorado Springs was a hoax. They named 3 perpetrators. They're now up on federal charges. And within those charges, it seemed that they had contact with our mayor, Yemi Mobolade, both before, during, and after. And the allegation in the Daily Wire article is that the mayor did know, and that when the federal government came, the FBI came to question him during it, he lied to them, and then they covered up for him. These are huge, scandalous charges. You would think any newspapers in any place would jump all over it, and yet that hasn't happened so much. But someone who got on it right from the beginning is George Brauchler, an attorney who has been the district attorney for Judicial District 18 here in Colorado, and now District Attorney-elect for the new Judicial District 23. George, welcome back to the Peak.
Thanks for having me back, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to have you. And he put out a op-ed piece in the Gazette a couple weeks ago, something along the lines of Mayor Yemi owes us answers. And I actually got to speak face-to-face with Yemi. I saw him last Wednesday. And I said to him, hey, come on the program, talk. He's like, and he was, I can't, and the legal stuff and things. And I said, well, when you're ready, we're inviting you on. But it's very hard for us to do a balanced story when we have basically nothing from your side but these official statements from your office that basically say nothing. Can you give us more? And he said, well, I'm meeting with my communications director tomorrow. Let me see what I can do. And then on Friday, he did a Facebook Live, and I'm going to read a couple things out of the Facebook Live, and you can go on Facebook on Yemi Mobolade's page, the mayor's page, and check this out, what he said. But he said, because I respect the judicial process and this remains an active case, I have intentionally not engaged with gossip and falling into political rhetoric. I have also been seeking legal counsel so I don't unintentionally jeopardize the prosecution of these other people. Now that I have received this guidance, I feel that I can publicly address what has become an unfortunate and unnecessary distraction. And these are his statements. Unequivocally, I fully and truthfully cooperated throughout the investigation. I had no knowledge, warning, or involvement in this crime. I did not lie to the FBI. I voluntarily provided all requests for communication without a subpoena, and I received and will be releasing a document, which we now have, from the Department of Justice that reads that I was, quote, identified by law enforcement as a victim or potential victim during the investigation of this criminal case. George, first question to you, what do you make of the statements made in the Facebook Live? Is it giving us answers that you were seeking, that we are seeking?
Yeah. Look, first off, the format they chose to do this is the one that is the most protective did not lie to the FBI. Now we know for certain he has committed to an answer. And either that's going to be proven out by what other evidence and information exists, or it won't. And if it won't, that's probably the end for the mayor. But if that's what's borne out, if that's what the real evidence is, great. Then I think we move on and we look at this as what not to do when you're an elected official and you're caught up in something like this. When you said, he was taking time to meet with his comms director, I thought it might take the resignation. Because anyone who advises someone to take this approach with these kinds of damning allegations does not know what they're doing.
And it took 2 weeks, a full 2 weeks to even get that statement. I want to move on to things that we've been learning about as we've been digging into this. There's lots of concerning details, and all of the evidence regarding this case has been sealed by the Department of Justice. Is that normal in this situation? And as press, do we have any remedy for getting to this information? Because they have it, but it's been sealed.
It's a fair question. As a prosecutor, as the one who sees your DA, I'm very protective of the information that could come out that might influence in a negative way the prosecution of my case. And so, one, you want to be protective of the process, right? People you accuse of crime. But at the same time, you don't want to run afoul of the existing rules of professional conduct or any other laws that are out there, so that the judge doesn't some kind of pain on you. Like, hey, we're going to move the bench to this trial because you've done such a bad job of working so well here with the jurors. So I'm very protective of that. However, this particular portion of this, the fact whether or not the mayor lied, that is only an important thing in this case. If the FBI has turned this over to the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the U.S. Attorney's Office has decided we'd like to use Yemi as a witness. If we want to use Yemi as a witness, then they're going to be super concerned if anything that's credibility damaging gets out there. So I can see why they would say, not interested in having this guy blown up in public. I got to tell you, man, they have to give it over to the defense. So the defense is going to have it. If this guy gets to stand, and it's true, he did lie to the FBI, they're going to have a field day with him. So, yeah, that's a question mark for me. I think the other thing that we have to look at here is that FOIA, the Freedom of Information Act, is different than CORA, the Colorado Open Records Act. The federal government has a great deal of powers to shut things down. And for instance, in a case like this, when you're considered a third party, like a non-suspect, non-defendant, those FOIA requests that come from other people for someone like that are very skeptical, and it's hard to get information. But you know who has primary right to get that FOIA information? Is Yemi. Yemi could submit his own FOIA request for the information about himself, and he would stand a much better chance than if you or me or the Gazette or KKTV or anybody else did it. And so that's the direction I think it has to go. This is the guy who can answer this question.
I'm not so much tracking with you. Can you go, and so our listeners may not be, what would Yemi ask? Like, what if you were advising Yemi to do a FOIA request, what would he submit?
Yemi would submit a FOIA request like you or I, but he'd do it from the standpoint of, I want the records that you have about me.
Okay.
About me, the things I said. I did. If you or I do it on a pending case like this, or for a non-suspect, non-defendant, it's harder to get, right? And you can imagine the government's like, look, we collect a lot of information on a lot of people that goes nowhere. It wouldn't be good if you could just, anybody could go see it.
Okay.
And dump it out on the public stream. I respect that.
But when it's personal information about you, about yourself. Okay. Okay. Okay, only have 1 minute left, have something different. So supposedly we've heard that this case that's coming up against these defendants with the federal charges, 13 judges have recused themselves from the case. One was Judge May made allegations against Trinity Blackcloud, who's one of the defendants, for intimidation. Is this normal that a case would have so many, if this is, and we're trying to do this, so I'm saying we're checking into this. Is it normal to have that many judges that would, for some reason, want to be off this case? And why would they? Do you feel it's possibly intimidation from third parties or the defendants themselves that tends to happen if this happens?
They'd have to have some kind of conflict or something in there. I mean, look, the only time you see stuff like this is if a judge that sits with them is accused of a crime. Then you could see the rest of the bench saying, I can't sit in judgment of a colleague. Or even the district attorney, you could see them recusing and saying, hey, I just can't sit in judgment of the guy who's going to bring all the cases before me. I can't do that. This is incredibly unusual, and getting to the
Okay, okay. This is a letter that makes him an official victim, but he has one from the DOJ now that says he's a victim. Hey, we're out of time. George Brauchler, District Attorney from the new Judicial District 23. Thanks so much. When we come back, we're continuing on this story about Yemi with Jordan Baldwin and getting more into the Dear Yemi video. We'll be right back with the peak. Solid segment, eh?
That was
Good
great.
deal. How was it? Well, you guys didn't hear that. You're going to have to go on the... This is why I need to edit these each night, because I need to put him on and everything like that, so.
Right.
Excellent. Okay. Let me just thank George. Great segment. He's really good. I mean, he's done radio for years, so he knows. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Remember, strong, pick up the pace, and let things be in logical segments. Like give people chunks of information that are associated with each other so they can track.
I got bullets here, so.
Okay, but think about how things logically fit together. Yes, sir.
Another reminder: it's 1 minute and 7 seconds, and it's a 5 minute and 30 second segment.
Okay.
So,
What? Huh?
like the Dear Yemi video.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So
So it's 1 minute and 7 seconds.
okay, that's what we thought. I had that budgeted. Okay. So, do we know about the gym rank yet?
Oh, he talks about burnout.
And how long is it?
It's 10 seconds over, so you have 440.
440.
450. My bad. 450.
450, and it's about what?
Burnout. This is a good rant. I really like this
Okay.
one. He talks about, yeah, you get burnt out, but at the end of the day, you gotta get up out of bed, or you're not gonna get stuff done.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Thank you.
No problem.
Do you want me to call for the clip, like from the beginning?
Yeah.
And then you'll come in for the 3 minutes? Okay. And this has been on for 1 year. They can see it on our website.
Then don't let anyone snatch up anything with a sledgehammer. Call Granite Transformations and Trend Transformations and tell them Janet sent you. Our gorgeous Ethereum by Eastone countertops and our backsplashes install right over your
Okay,
existing
we're back in a minute.
Sounds smart? It is.
For more information, go to granitetransformations.com. That's Granite Transformations.
Starting to dig this broadcasting?
Yeah.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. I can learn.
There's no fudge factors.
I'm
There's
learning.
no extra time. There's no. There's like,
It's definitely, it can be nerve-wracking if you can't go with the flow, you know?
this is why it's so immediate, you know. You just gotta go. Okay, 30 seconds. I gotta call this Noel Black from the Gazette. I mean, from the Indy, who wrote this article. It's like, it's embarrassing. Mayor explicitly denies lying to the FBI. A closer look at the hate crime hoax, FBI investigation, and the conservative media blitz that have engulfed City Hall. There's no blitz. There's no blitz. That word doesn't mean what he thinks it means. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, and we're doing, yes, another program on the Mayor Yemi hate crime hoax probe. Did Yemi know about the hate crime hoax when it was being perpetrated back during the 2023 election? Did he know the people who were doing it? He says that he didn't really know them, only because they were media. And if you have missed any of this, because we don't want to do the same show every day. In fact, I'm insisting that if we don't have something new significantly to tell you, we're just going to do our normal format. But about once a week, I figure this story we can do a whole show on it. Is that you can go to the peak.news/hate crime hoax. We have a special page. We have all of our content. Listen to it. I mean, be an informed consumer and citizen, and listen, where we connect these people more to Yemi than he's claiming, and other things. So there's a video, and we're going to play a clip from it, and it's on our website on the Hate Crime Hoax page, called the Dear Yemi video. We've confirmed that this is Derek Bernard, who is the main person accused of perpetrating this hoax, was also convicted of ordering a murder, and has life plus in prison at this point, although he says that he didn't do it, of hiring someone to do a murder. So I'd like to play a part of this Dear Yemi video, and then Jordan Baldwin is going to add some to it, things that we've learned. Please play the clip. So you're going to have about 2 minutes or so. Okay, so think about what you're going to do. Okay, again, this is a Dear Yemi video. It's on YouTube. You can go to our website and find it on the Hate Crime Hoax page. Jordan, what was the context at the timing when this was put on? I think it was August of 2023. What was going on then?
Yeah, so basically there's a lot going on. There was that murder case around Flyjack and all those charges where he was getting prosecuted.
Derek Bernard.
For ordering the murder of Flyjack. Now keep in mind, he was in jail. The claim that he murdered Flyjack, or that he ordered this murder, was when he was in jail. And the trigger man has not yet been found guilty, or the alleged trigger man. So we have this video that was released a year ago. It was put on the YouTube page, Family Flavors the Slide, August 31st, 2023. And we confirmed that it was Derek in this video, and it was addressed to Yemi, posted on their site. And we did obtain exclusive information on this video, that there was a fallout between Yemi and the Slide. We have exclusive information that the defendants did in fact reach out to Yemi for help in addressing some concerns of judicial misconduct, and corruption in the local government around this whole case that was leading up to this indictment that was brought down.
And you've been in touch with Derek Bernard, but what is he accusing Yemi of here? This is referring back to things that he did to help Yemi during the elections, seemingly including this hate crime hoax, where he says lying for him.
Yeah, so basically he's expressing that they did work together, they did talk, and there was this close-knit relationship.
A mentorship relationship.
Exactly, even a mentorship. And we also obtained some exclusive information and evidence of a stockholders pledge that was for Family Flavors the Slide, signed by Yemi in 2022. So there's definitely a deep-seated relationship between...
Okay, so let me put that in kind of... Yemi has said that his only relationship with this group was they were media, and he was interviewed like a lot of political people, and a lot of people were. But you're saying we have a document now that Yemi made a pledge to be monetarily involved with this organization that he claims to not really be involved with.
Yeah, involved on some level to pledge his support, correct.
Okay, we're digging. You're listening to The Peak, and we'll be right back. Okay, we have 2 minutes. What are the things that we're doing in segment 4?
Okay, so...
Tell me so I can set them up and you can... So what are the new things we're talking about?
Okay, so we want to talk about how he had told the defendants that that the powers that be would not allow him to get involved when they reached out to him for help.
Oh, you got to stop saying him. You got to use names.
Okay, so when the defendants reached out to Yemi for help, They were told by Yemi that the powers that be would not allow him to get involved.
What else? What's another point?
The Judge May incident. So
that we already mentioned, so you're going to go more in detail.
Exactly.
Judge May incident, what else?
And then we can talk about the Yemi, his mentoring, that Derek, after talking to Derek, he had felt that Yemi was trading his integrity and allegiance for political gain.
And that's
why the
back
video,
to this video.
yeah, that's why the video was released.
Okay, trading what did you say?
Trading his integrity
integrity.
Loyalty, yeah.
Okay, and then what are the items? You have some items of what we're going to get into, what you're digging for, to things that we're still looking for, questions.
Correct. And that's going to be in this segment?
Yeah, well, that's at the end, like you see here,
Okay.
I have on page 4.
Gotcha.
But if there's anything else,
No,
I could introduce those questions, but you can, and then the hate crime hoax. Okay, we're back in 30 seconds.
Okay.
And then when we come back, we're going to do media silence and activism. Oh, I'm actually doing radio journalism. This is cool. I like it. Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman. You're listening to AM 1460 and FM 101.1. The Answer, and I'm a little, I'm happy. We're doing what we set out to do. We launched this past January. We said that we would cover the stories that no one else is covering. I just had no idea that, stories that were this, I'll call them juicy, would be ignored by the local media. And we're going to be talking about that in the next segment after this. But I'm enjoying what we're doing, not because of the story, because you have to think about it. Journalists, I know that we've gotten used to these smug journalists that have a dog in the fight and want one side to win and one side to lose, and aren't able to come to work and put their personal feelings and bents aside and just do their darn job. But what's pleasing us is we're really, we have to go through this. What can we report? What can we say? What are our sources? Can we mention our sources? What does that mean if we don't mention our sources? Do we know that this is true? Can we give our opinion in this? These are the kind of things that we're deciding every day. And I love it because that's who I am. I'm a journalist. I'm a storyteller. I want to bring this information to you. I'm really proud of Jordan because he's been hustling out there. We wouldn't have any of this if it wasn't for him. And this is this citizen journalism project that I knew we could do, and we're just getting started. And if you are interested in this story, we have a tip line. So you can go on, it can be anonymous, it's on our website. You can go on the hate crime hoax or the peak.news/hate crime hoax. If you know anything about this, you have information, please reach out to us. And better than that, don't be anonymous and come on and help us tell the story or any other story. There's 1,000 easily good stories that aren't being told in this city. And let's do it together as citizen journalists. Go to the peak.news, to our citizen journalist page, find out more about us, sign up. And about every 2 weeks, we just had one this past Monday, both virtually and actually, we're having citizen journalist meetings, introducing more people, finding out what they're interested in, giving them assignments. This is getting very exciting. And I'm sorry, Yemi. I know Yemi. I like Yemi. I'm sorry that he's in the middle of all this, but man, let's get this story told. Either you're innocent or guilty, and if we don't want this to be a distraction, let's stop hiding it and let's get on with it. So Jordan Baldwin of First Amendment Media has been digging at so many things, and I wanted him to say what I said to him today, can we do a show where you have value add, that we're not just recycling the story, but we're moving it forward, and there's a lot he'd like to say, stuff we can't do yet, but in this segment he's going to talk about what he's able to add to the things we've already presented, because we're creeping along with this. It's a slow walk, but we're doing it. And then questions that we still really want answered, and we would put this out to the universe, to the citizenry, to those involved. Can we get these questions answered, please? Because, let's get on with it, as I said. So Jordan, what are some items, give us very quickly the context that we already covered, and then how have we moved things forward? How have you gotten more information?
Yeah, so basically, It's been reported to the Peak exclusively that Yemi expressed to the defendants that he was told that, quote unquote, the powers that be didn't allow him to get involved in helping Derek address these concerns that Derek and others were reaching out to the DOJ about and Yemi about, in regard to this corruption that they believed was taking place. Now, it seems to me from direct reports that Derek had felt as if Yemi, his mentor, was now trading his integrity and loyalty for some type of political gain.
And you heard that in this Dear Yemi video, and we invite you to go on the site and watch. I think it's like 7 minutes long or something. You can watch the whole video.
Correct. So as we looked into this a little bit more, it was alleged on October 3rd, 2023 that Judge Diana May had made these allegations that led to the charges against Ashley Blackcloud that basically were later dismissed because of a secret recording that cleared Ashley's name. And as far as I know, nothing further came from that, but it was sealed. So this is something the public does not know about. This is something we are reporting to you first exclusively, and we've also obtained documentation and proof of this, which we will put up on the site.
Okay, so to recap this, there were, and we're checking into this, it seems that it took 14 appointments of judges to this case, and the others recused themselves. Judge May claimed that Ashley Blackcloud is one of the defendants in the federal charges that were unsealed a few weeks ago, that she had intimidated the judge, and we would have to think that for 13 judges to back out, probably it wasn't all conflict of interest, that they knew these people or whatever. The fact that there was fear being put into them from somebody, was it the defendants, was it third parties, was it anonymous people just wanting to put the pressure on? We don't know. We'd love the answer to that. But what Jordan is pointing out is, just to recap, now that I've given the context, that Judge May, Ashley Blackcloud, has evidence that actually didn't happen.
Correct. So we do have
at least
evidence.
from her.
Right. So we do have some of the motions for dismissal and some evidence on this actual case. But the reality is all of these things seem to be sealed and covered, and it's very hard to look into them when they're covered, even past things. So when you try to look into these things, it's like you can't really find out much. So that's why we've really had to dig. But as we find stuff out, we're going to give you that information, give you proof of this, and keep you updated. And we're continuing to dig on a lot of this.
Okay, and now go in. We did play a clip from this Dear Yemi video. Again, you can watch the whole thing on the site. But where Derek is mentioning, Yemi's lack of integrity or lack of loyalty and everything, you go into that a little more on what you found out, because you've been in touch with Derek Bernard.
Yeah, so basically Derek had a mentorship type relationship with Yemi, and I even heard something about the Young Mayoral Award. Yemi had admonished Derek for his leadership in the community. So there's clearly this relationship Yemi had with family
I don't
flavors.
think admonished is the right word. It praised him?
Praised him, yeah,
okay,
yeah. So basically, he had built Derek up quite a bit.
Okay.
And, he had this relationship with Derek, but then he also had this relationship with Family Flavors The Slide, which is where we see this pledge come in that we talked about, signed by Yemi, which is actually up on their wall.
And Family Flavors The Slide is a radio program.
That's correct. And
a civic, and they do civic activities and events.
Correct, and they are the ones that are involved in this indictment. So Ashley Blackcloud, Deanna Crystal West, Derek Patrick Bernard, all were working with this Family Flavors The Slide. So it's kind of wrapped up in this indictment, and you can see it in the indictment. But this Family Flavors The Slide was involved with Mayor Yemi, and Derek and others from Family Flavors The Slide had been reaching out to Yemi to express their concerns around the handling of Derek's other cases leading up to this case, which there were many. It wasn't just the Fly Jack case and the murder thing.
And Fly Jack is the murdered rapper who Derek was convicted of ordering the murder of.
Correct. So, and that's where we see Judge May come in and these charges. So prior to that, there were other things that we're going to report to you. We're continuing to dig, but there is a lot of details around this case that need to be uncovered.
So do you hear what we're talking about? Like, can you imagine any news organization having something with with this many interconnections, this many possibilities, this many stories to chase down, you know how broadcast media loves to sensationalize things, ignoring it, like staying away from it, covering it barely, or, as we'll get into the next segment, even seemingly acting like a PR firm trying to bury it. And that's a story unto itself that may be bigger than this whole thing. So, what are questions that we would love answered? There's a million of them, but let me tell you about some things, and we definitely want to be balanced on this. One big thing is the credibility of this Daily Wire article. Now, I encourage you to go on our website, or go on the Daily Wire. You would have to on the Daily Wire, you'd have to go pretty deep to find it at this point because it was like 3 weeks ago. But on our site, you'll find a link right up near the top of the page where we list it, and go and read the accusations. The main accusations are that Yemi knew before, during, and after, was in communication with these people, that when the FBI came to question him about it, he lied to them. They already had his text, and he lied to them about his text, and that the DOJ decided to not prosecute him because we can't prosecute the first black mayor of Colorado Springs. He was getting some kind of liberal, woke, I don't know, privilege, liberal, some kind of privilege to not get prosecuted because of the color of his skin and because of, who he was. And this is all scandalous, and we need answers to this. So, this Luke Rosiak, who is the author of the Daily Wire article, he came out with a secondary article about a week later, so he's not running from it. But we've reached out to him, he's not getting back to us, and I even heard that a lot of other journalists have reached out to him. So, Luke Rosiak of the Daily Wire, why aren't you contacting us on the local level? We'd love to affirm these with you. I asked somebody who I can't say who it is, who is close to this, and said he provided some information for this article. I said, are you confident in the Daily Wire article? And he wrote me back like I don't know how many zeros, but it was like 1,000,000,000%. That he's very confident in these accusations. But the fact that Luke Rosiak isn't getting back to any local reporters is concerning. Secondly, how do we get these texts? Obviously, they were on the phones of the people, so they were on Yemi's phone, and they were on Derek Bernard's phone. And they're sealed in a way, but how can we get these texts? Because in the federal charges, it redacts any answer from Yemi. We see no response by then candidate Yemi, none. And we'd love to see the other side. That would show us one or the other. And Mayor Yemi has those texts. Also, these claims were made that an FBI official in this Daily Wire article, they are as unnamed. Who is that person? Right? That's an question. Can we find out who this person is? Would an FBI official leak such information? And then the big one, for me, as a media person, why is the local media not doing everything that they can, either individually or together, to try to dig up this story and get it told? And so when we come back in the next segment, Jordan and I are going to be talking about this media silence and activism that's going on in our region. And again, that may be a bigger story than all of it, because if they're doing it regarding this, what other stories are they doing it regarding? I'm Goldman the Watchman. You can get all the reports that we've done on this on the peak.news/hate crime hoax. We so appreciate that you listen to us when you have lots of other choices, but we're here to say the quiet stuff out loud. We'll be right back. Okay? So, I have a bunch of commentary to do regarding both the Gazette article and especially the Independent article. Okay. So I'm going to want you to turn it over to you for maybe 30 seconds to a minute.
Gotcha.
For you as a journalist to say, well, whatever, why this is concerning, how you think it can be overcome. Think of what you'd like to add to the mix as a journalist. Not to say the same stuff I'm saying. Gotcha. I mean, if you do, say I agree with you on that point, but what really bothers me, so think about knowing what we're looking at here. So now we're just totally coming into how is the media covering it or not covering it. Not any of the facts of the case or any of what we're doing. But how is the rest of the media acting? Okay, cool.
Excellent.
Okay.
And so okay, gotcha. I just answered my own question.
It's just, especially because of time, everything has to be a different facet. Saying the same thing, it's not worth the time. I already said it, this India's written so elitist. A story like this shows why having a better understanding of how to consume media is important. Whether you're an average reader in Colorado Springs getting a text or email link from someone or something posted somewhere online, or a member of city council. How cheap and easy it is to produce, and incentives for doing it. This is Corey Hutchins trying to get on the show. Okay, we're back in about 30.
Express one end of the show once down Langley Old Print Shop in Colorado Springs. In business for more than 30 years, Express is part of our West Area Circle. Express is friendly, fast, and affordable, offering a variety of printing, office, and design services. John and Mark will know you on a first-name basis and will have great solutions for all your printing needs. For more info, go to expressco.com. That's the letter X, expressco.com. Your one-stop local print shop.
Welcome back to the Peak News. I'm Chaim Goldman, the Watchman, and we are continuing our coverage of the Did Yemi Know, Did Yemi Lie story that's been out for 3 weeks. And in this final segment, I'm talking more about the media and what I'm calling media silence and activism. So, one, have you heard about this story like anywhere from anybody other than us? If you have, as I did, early on, Richard Randall on his radio show mentioned it on the Friday after it broke on a Thursday, and then Monday he did a whole show on it. And we had to wait the whole weekend, because we're not on Fridays, to get to it. And when we got to it, we were still the ones reporting on it. And then day after day after day after day, it's like we're the only ones really saying anything. And if something would come out, and I give KRDO did a couple of things, it was what we call, press release recording. It's like you stay in the office, you get a press release, somebody said this, we report on it, that's it. But the Daily Wire article, not enough. Like you would think the Daily Wire article, a national news organization, making these egregious claims against our mayor, that would be a great juicy story for them, but ignored it. And there are actually some news sources in town, major ones, that have still yet to report on this, even though a week before this came out, when the federal charges came out against these people and it was a hate crime hoax, it was in everybody reported on it. So what have we gotten so far? What's new? Well, an article came out in the Gazette finally on December 6th. I did not lie to the FBI. Mayor Mobolade rejects rumors around alleged hate crime hoax. And that was, of course, because when Yemi came out and did this, but I believe, and I'll stand corrected, this was the first time, 2 weeks after the story broke, that the Gazette even mentioned it, was after Yemi said he didn't do it. And that, to me, is this thing. Now that Yemi makes a statement, that allows the press to go back to sleep. Hey, there was an accusation against our mayor. He definitively said he didn't do it. We're going to move on and not do anything else. And that's what we're seeing. And how do you do that? Okay, like I'd like to believe him, but is it true? Is it not? Then, on December 8th, in the Gazette, the rise and fall of former Mobolade booster Derek Bernard Jr. and his radio station, The Slide. And this is an extensive article that basically is what I would call a hate piece, or a hit piece, a hit piece that is like a PR piece in investigating these people and defaming them. And, I believe it says in here that they did talk to Derek Bernard, but you can go find that on the Gazette. Glenn Wallace is the author of that article. And then, this is what I want to spend the rest of the time on. The Independent. Okay, The Independent, paper that came to town over 30 years ago, specifically known, they said, to be a liberal progressive, if that was a term at the time, newspaper to bring things into a left liberal way. And they've always done that. And it took them 2 weeks to come out with an article, and this is the headline, and you can find it, go on the Colorado Springs Independent website. Mayor explicitly denies lying to the FBI. A closer look at the hate crime hoax, FBI investigation, and the conservative media blitz that have engulfed City Hall. Okay, there is no conservative media blitz. As I've been telling you, nobody did it. But the author, this article, think about this. we ask all these questions. Hey, what about the text? What about this? Did he do it? This article from the headline is about exposing that the conservative media is jumping all over this, because that's what the conservative media do. There's no story here. What this is about is the Daily Wire and all the conservative media. They didn't mention us by name. I wish they had. We'd love the publicity. Is that this is about, it's not about the story, it didn't happen, it's not important, but the conservative media is so bad, and it mentions conservative politicians, and it has that elitist, it has one source that's a journalism professor, Corey Hutchins. They didn't interview like anybody. It was all press release type stuff, but going after with an elitist kind of, tone, that this is all about the conservative media and how, we don't know what we're doing, and all this junk media that's out there, and you can't listen to it. And to me, that's a PR piece, not a journalism. Well, now we have Jim Miller and the Peak Rants, and Jim is talking about burnout.
I'm Jim Miller. I'm a veteran.
Sorry, I never got to you. I had too much time.
It's all good.
So I'll give you 20 to 30 seconds in the next to finish up.
That's fine.
What do you have to say to wrap this all up?
Yeah, it's just
It doesn't even have to be about journalism. If you want to wrap it, however you want to wrap it, but don't take. I only have 2 minutes to close. So.
I was just going to talk about suppression of information.
Okay.
I understand people getting burned out. I understand the younger generation not wanting to get up and do any work. I mean, come on. These kids nowadays, these boys take a lot of interest in those cool haircuts. The warm on the alpaca. Times life starts burning you out. You start getting overworked, overtaxed. You start getting exhausted. You just start looking at things and going, man, utilities are getting more expensive and everything else. It's getting harder and harder every day. It ain't no fun. You're getting older. You thought you'd be at the point. Maybe I'm speaking for myself, huh? Just a little bit there. You're getting to the point right now where you're supposed to be relaxing, kind of chilling out, kind of reeling back from having to do the constant labors all the time. I get it. Getting burned out, getting tired, getting exhausted. Right? What was that in The Shining? There's a Colorado reference for you, huh? All work and no play makes Jim a dull boy.
Jack.
Well, that's very true with everything. But remember, when it comes down to everything, doing the work, the labor, getting yourself funded, paying for your own stuff, being an earner in society, for yourself, not a taker. Earning all the things that you want to do or have to take care of, family, friends, people you care about, the people counting on you and your family. Taking care of the kids, make sure the wife's okay, all that stuff. That's good. So you gotta get up. You gotta remember, get up, get out of bed, go do your stuff. Don't forget, nobody's gonna remember whoever sat around, got sad, and slept all day. You might be remembered if you get up and just trudge through it. You might do something great. We all got greatness in us. Just you might be the greatest mopper on the planet. Maybe you're not gonna be a rock star. Sorry, it doesn't happen to everybody, right? You might be the best, nicest, best dressed Santa Claus, for crying out loud, at the mall. I don't know. There's something significant about you. Just figure out, get up, go do the stuff, get it done. Everybody's burned out, everybody's tired. We're all overworked, we're all overtaxed. Remember, if you want to better, be better. I'm Jim Miller, I'm just a guy, and this is the Peak Rants on AM 1416 FM 101.1, The Answer. We'll be right back.
Solid. Yeah, good show.
Yeah, it's gonna keep going great, because as we continue to look into it and show people this evidence and just tell them the story, I think that it's gonna go a long way, because people see that we're seeking after truth here. We're not here to take a side or target anybody, but literally, like, we just want to report what other people obviously are not, and it's just scary to see.
Well, there's that George Orwell that I have that journalism is publishing what other people don't want printed, everything else is public relations, something like that.
It's crazy. I feel like we're in an Orwell story right now.
It is. It's like a Twilight Zone thing. It's like how the story, like any news organization would love this story. Could lead with this every night.
Yep.
We gotta shame them. We gotta shame them. At some point, we need to hit critical mass with our data, where we feel that we're sufficiently ahead that nobody can possibly catch us, and then just start feeding information out to the other news organization and go, will you run with this? Will you do it? Just like challenge them.
Right. Yeah,
Challenge
that's,
them. Hey, here's a juicy story. We don't have, can you put a reporter on this?
that's a good challenge, I think. I mean, it's fair. I don't think that's too much to ask, but you see real quick how it doesn't work.
Yeah, but now they're stuck. Now they, now they know. They know. 'Cause, I mean, as much as I like having exclusives, it's like, dude, we can't fully tell this story. We need the other news organizations.
I know.
We need them with all their contacts, and just think of all the people those reporters know and everything. Like, and then we start sharing information. Ooh, that'd be something. To actually start sharing information with each other in order to tell the story.
I don't know. That's a good question.
30 seconds. So I'm going to announce this D11, because we actually have Parth, Mel Packham, and Jill Hafley of the D11 School Board on the show tomorrow. So we got them on here.
Tuesday morning at 6 a.m. for Bible study and breakfast, and Sunday mornings for our regular worship services. For times and more details, check us out at theroad.org. That's theroad.org.
Thank you so much for joining us for another day of the Peak. So what do you think? Did Yemi know? Did Yemi lie? Please go to our website, thepeak.news, and to the Hate Crime Hoax page and look at it. We're going to keep putting up information as we have it so that you, yes you, we're not here to make your mind up for you. We're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to be the media and help you navigate this information. And we're hoping that the rest of the media does too. Jordan Baldwin, First Amendment Media, final comments.
Yeah, so I believe the suppression of information around everything here is possibly one of the biggest parts of this story. And I've never seen officials go to such great lengths to cover up details and show what appears to be favoritism. But the reality is everyone has the right to a fair trial. And when important information is covered up like this, it affects public image, and it can possibly affect the right to somebody's defense and a fair trial at times. So we saw the Daily Wire article drop. We saw them remove traces of Yemi from the indictment. We saw the protection order come down. What'll happen next? We'll keep bringing you the facts.
Okay, and we want to let you know about tomorrow's show because this is big. Tonight, D11 School Board, if you want to go down there, you can head down there for their meeting tonight. They're actually going to be deciding about the master agreement with the teachers union, and will there continue, because it's the only school district that still is with the teachers union. Might the teachers union rule in a way over this area? And tomorrow, guess what? We have the president of D11 School Board and another school board member, Parth Packham and Jill Hafley of the D11 School Board, are going to be our guests for the whole show tomorrow here on the Peak. So tune in at 3 p.m. because they're going to be talking about what is going on tonight. That's what we bring to you, saying the quiet stuff out loud that no one else does. And then Friday, Dirk Hobbs of North Publishing, there's Southern Colorado Business Forum and Digest. We're not on Fridays, but we're going to have Dirk as our guest on Monday talking about the state of local business as we head into 2025. Now stick around for the Larry Elder Show and head over to our website, thepeak.news, to listen to our 150 plus podcast. The Peak, we say the quiet stuff out loud, and with you we can say it even louder for such a time as this, my local citizens. Shalom.
Excellent. Wow. That was good.
Cool.
Good stuff. Yeah,
Was that good? We doing good on the Facebook? Are we doing good? Help us. Help us, please. Tell people about us. Thepeak.news. Come be a citizen journalist. Donate money to our educational foundation. Come on now, help us out. Help some brothers out. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow.
I think we're going to be surprised the amount of support we get as we continue.
Once it hits a tipping point, it's just not there yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you,